Welcome everybody, this is Defeater of Souls. Today we're talking about the Demon Family. Now, what is the Demon Family? Well, the Demon Family is a family of diverse monsters that generally don't fit into any other category. That's because these guys are all incredibly demonic in their appearance. Now, what do I mean by demonic? That's kind of a broad term to describe demons. It's not really helpful. When I say demonic, I mean these guys generally consist of having, but not always, bat wings of some capacity. Maybe they have horns, maybe they have eyes, more eyes or less eyes than two. Maybe they're brandishing weapons. Maybe they have other implements of torture and destruction, like long, sharp fangs or claws. Either way, these guys generally don't fit into any other category because they just are too broad in order to really do so. You kinda can't fit them in with beasts because none of them are really too furry, with a few exceptions. You can't really fit them in with slimes because none of them are slimes. You can't fit them with dragons because none of them are dragons, and you can't fit them with material monsters because none of them are material. They're just demonic. That's really the best way to describe them. They are intentionally evil. Now, what makes the demon family so interesting? Well, first of all, the demon family has appeared in every single Dragon Warrior Monsters and Dragon Quest Monsters game in the entire series. However, their name has changed. In the original one, it was the Devil Family, and it was repeated in the second one as the Devil Family as well, before being changed back to the Demon Family and Joker. Now, why Devil Family was changed was probably just a matter of making the connotation seem more broad in order to fit more monsters into it, but I could be wrong. And when I say that every single game had the Demon Family, that is a lie because Caravan Heart and Joker 3 do not have the Demon Family. Now, why don't these games have the Demon Family? I cannot say because I do not speak Japanese, as such I've never played these games and been able to understand them. As a result, I cannot say why they may have been removed. If you know, or you have a fun little hypothesis, please let me know in the comments and I will be glad to learn what a possible solution could be. What else makes the Demon Family interesting? Well, they never really got censored in any way, shape, or form. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, in the entire history of the Dragon Quest franchise, censorship has happened on multiple accounts in order to make the games less religious. And by that I mean they removed religious iconography so that it was less close to real life establishments, such as Christian churches. You can see, for example, in Dragon Warrior 2, the original one on the NES, the original Japanese version had crosses to signify the churches and anything else that was holy in nature. Now, of course, this was all replaced in Dragon Warrior 2 when it came out to the US, where all these crosses were replaced with more generic symbols that didn't really sell the whole religious aspect. Now, at the same time, demons aren't really religious, aren't they? Why in the world would they censor them? Well, demons are generally considered to be the opposite of angels. General Christian belief states that you'd go to heaven if you had lived a righteous life, and if you didn't, then you would be punished in the underworld, where you would be tortured by these demons. As such, demons do have a nature when it comes to religious things, but since they are not directly religious themselves, they were never censored. This is rather interesting because there are plenty of demons that do reference biblical texts. One of the first ones I can think of, and a rather interesting demon, is the Titania. This Twintania creature exists rather interestingly because it is quite literally designed to look like Satan. That all being said, let's talk about some of the actual stats these demons have and what makes them unique when it comes to an actual gameplay level. Well, when it comes to stats, the demons are actually rather well balanced. They level up a reasonable amount, and they have reasonable stats in every category. There is no stat that is really low or really high in any location. Their best stats, however, are generally attack and HP, making them seem to lean better towards bulky attackers, and their lowest stat generally on average, and this is of course relative. It's not a bad stat, but their MP is slightly lower than their other stats. As such, you cannot rely on demons to last too long, and you're going to want to finish battles quickly using their higher attack stat. When it does come to resistances and immunities, You can rely on demons to resist the likes of fire spells, ice spells, and explosion spells, but you cannot rely on them to be immune to any of these. What you can rely on them to be immune to is instant death attacks. The likes of Whack, Thwack, and Kamikaze are going to do a lot less to them, as in nothing to them, when it comes to any other attack. You can rely on demons to be good, but not too tanky when it comes to something like the Material Family. And if you didn't know that, then go watch the video about the Material Family. Let's talk about some of the unique members of the Demon Family, and maybe some of the ones you might recognize. For example, let's talk about the Gigantus. The Gigantus is a giant cyclopean creature that's been around for quite a while. You can rely on them to be rather big in nature, and a very famous version is Atlas, who is an orange Gigantus. Another interesting one is the Silverpithecus. This is a giant monkey with bat-like wings, and although it could seem like it could fit into the beast family, its rather demonic nature is what distincts it as a demon. The boss troll is also a rather devilish looking guy. He looks rather evil, but also silly looking at the same time. As you can see, you kinda can't fit him into any other categories, but he does hurt quite a bit. One extra one here is the Belial. The Belial is probably the one that's closest looking to an actual devil from any description of demons. He has the horns, he has the tail, he has the bat-like wings, and he's even holding a pitchfork. He uses explosive magic, and it blows up really badly. That all being said, that was a very quick, brief, and unique go-over of the Demon Family. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If there's anything you think I missed, once again, let me know in the comments. You can subscribe if you want to, but I'm not going to force you to. I'm just going to make sure you know the options on the table. Same goes for liking the video. That all being said, if you have anything else that you want to say that I haven't already just mentioned, once again, leave a comment. If there's any video ideas you have, once again, leave a comment. And that all being said, this has been Defeater of Souls.